I have to give a huge thank you to the awesome folks over at Shudder for giving me an early screener that is called The Demon Disorder. I did have a chance to check this out a little bit early. I'm a little bit later compared to maybe some other reviewers of getting my thoughts out. But what did I think of The Demon Disorder? Well, the practical effects are off the charts. The cinematography is utterly fantastic, but the storytelling, meh. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out my review. I really do appreciate it. If you're brand new here, welcome. If you're coming back once again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. So The Demon Disorder is directed by Stephen Boyle and also written by him alongside Tony Osborne. And Stephen Boyle is primarily known for like makeup and practical effects on some big movies. So for him to have a chance to direct a feature is really cool. Now this movie stars a bunch of people I don't know anything about. That includes Dirk Hunter, Charles Cordier, Christian Willis, John Noble and more. And this tells a story of three brothers, Jake, Philip and Graham, Riley brothers, and this is around them and their deceased dad. Basically a dark family secret comes to the surface and it's gonna really change the dynamic of their lives, and that's all I'm gonna say without giving away spoilers. So this movie clocks in at 85 minutes, maybe around 82, 83 minutes once you kind of cut off the credits. And what did I think of this overall? Well, as I say in the introduction, I've definitely got some positives, but I have got some negatives that kind of outweigh those positives. So let's go into this firstly, because I do think that The Demon Disorder is going to be a movie that some people are going to really dig. I have already seen some 4-star reviews on Letterboxd, and that is absolutely incredible. I always love when movies like this can get an appreciation and maybe even like a little cult following, right? And this is an Australian horror movie, so Australian horrors are known to have really good reputations normally, and this definitely has parts of that. The positives, as I mentioned before, the practical effects are off the charts. I did see also on a review on Letterboxd that apparently when this person saw the movie, they had like a special introduction beforehand, and the director Stephen Boyle called on a lot of favours and use of kind of practical effects in the past to help out in this production, and it really shows. Like the blood, the demon practical effects and just the makeup is outstanding. One of the biggest highlights and one of the most enjoyable factors, I was like, wow, this looks so good, especially being an Australian horror. I can't imagine this having a huge budget in terms of actually being produced, so I really like that they showcase that, and that is going to be something that people will definitely remember at the end of The Demon Disorder, whether you like it or whether you dislike it, however you feel on the movie. The cinematography is also captured really well with the use of drone shots, wide shots, one takes, and that for me, I can always implore and I always appreciate about any given movie that can implement those techniques, because I want to be in the picture. I want to be where these characters are. I want to be feeling what they are feeling, and this movie definitely helps capture that environment well, and that is the biggest praises I can give The Demon Disorder, because the acting was also good by everyone involved. But besides those positives, unfortunately I have to weigh into the negatives, which again outweighed the experience for me personally. Those negatives start with the runtime. Now you might be thinking, well Mike, it's only 85 minutes, like what the heck are you talking about? What do you mean by the runtime? I feel like this should have maybe been trimmed down about 15 minutes, right? Because I appreciate to try and give some backstory and flashbacks and a little bit of complexity to a rather simple kind of storyline telling, but I just felt as if like a few scenes were rinse and repeat, a couple of arguments from the family and distance that these brothers have had over the years since their father did pass away. And again, I appreciate all of that storytelling and try to cram that storytelling in, but I just feel as if when this movie gets going, which takes about 25-30 minutes in, it gets going for kind of the remainder of the runtime, runtime, which again, great, but to get to that first 25 minutes, I felt we could have got there a little bit quicker, because at the helm of it, as I said about trying to add the complexity, it is a simple story. You can easily follow along with the demon disorder, and I just wish we got there a little bit quicker, because I really felt that would have helped the pacing, and ultimately at times I felt like this could have made a really awesome short story, or short movie for that matter, but they try to get to that hour 25 minute mark, which is already a quite low run time, but I felt if it was like 10-15 minutes shorter, personally it would have worked for the better. And one thing I also wasn't huge on with this movie is that storytelling, because it is a rather simple story. I just felt that with the issues I mentioned with the pacing and how this could have been chopped down a little bit, it ultimately affects the narrative, which wasn't the strongest to be held up by that runtime. And it's just really a shame, because for me, it was one where I found myself thinking, like, look, let's get to the meat and bones, right? Let's get to the end of this story. Let's see how this is going to play out. But it just didn't keep my full attention, despite the really positives I had and the potential this movie had. Because for me, I felt like this movie could have been one that was like really memorable, and it was going to be one where I could recommend this to family and friends and say, hey, look, have you heard of The Demon Disorder? This is a horror movie you've got to check out in 2024, and one that could go under the radar. But I didn't get that impression, unfortunately. So my overall score would be a 2 out of 5 stars. Have you checked this out? Are you going to watch it? Or are you just going to skip it? Let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue the discussion down there. If you haven't joined Patreon, you can do so by £2 per month with the link down below in the description box. Big thanks to all these awesome people who are subscribed to Patreon and enjoying benefits you won't get here on YouTube. In the meantime, click over here to see 2 videos of mine you may have missed, and 2 fairly new reviews as well. Till next time I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.